Well, we finally made it to the TD Twister, despite your directions, and we managed to even pick up Deji. Unfortunately, it's a bit hard to notice that it's Mexico because there's no yellow piece filter all over the place, but trust me, we're totally there. And as promised, we have a couple of guests around, including Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney, although their mouths certainly could use some soap to be washed. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to our next pick, which is From Dusk Till Dawn, a movie from the year of 1996, so it avoided the roller coaster that was 1997, for a January release, so dumped in the, death pit, that is the month of the year used for, movies that you don't know when to release, for collaboration between Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. Now, if things about the movie, I'll be able to tell as we go on, but there's a huge asterisk that I need to address immediately right now. As just mentioned, this is a mid-90s co-production between Rodriguez and Tarantino, just fresh out of stuff like Pulp Fiction. So the script of this movie is very naughty in a sense. There chances are, if you're in a particular group, there's a slur in this movie just to offend you. So I don't blame you if that actually is your turn off of a movie. I'm enjoying the movie in spite of that, but again, similar to the stuff that we see in Temple of Doom, I cannot deny that is a thing that drags it down. But more on to the final thoughts. So, to start the audience, start right before the Dimension Films logo. If you also have the Miramax logo, because they distribute this movie, skip that so you don't have to get reminded about the Weinsteins. And instead, start right before the Dimensions Film logo. In 3, 2, 1, click. So, fun fact, if I recall correctly, some of us did try to record a commentary about this back in the day. I don't remember exactly if it was me, Dweebs, and Jova, or there was also Pedro in it, but it was a long time ago, and it never happened.
Is the mentioned film still around?
No, let me check who they folded in. I think Amazon?
Yeah, they went bankrupt.
Yeah.
How fitting, since given who the founder was.
Oh, Paramount. So,
Ugh.
that is true. Dweebs, you told me that this was on Paramount Plus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, Dimension Films was technically also founded by Bob Weinstein,
Yeah.
essentially, since it was the label within Miramax Film Studios, I swear.
All right.
Companies were all about using this or that name for what, not.
So, yeah. Okay. Again, I won't spoil what happens in the movie, but in terms of like quality, one thing I will say is that this movie has quite a bit of Tarantino trying to act.
Yeah, and not just that, he wrote the script. And again,
Um,
if you've seen Pulp Fiction, you know about the scene, not the one, with Phil Lamar and Sam Jackson quoting Ezekiel. No, the one where Tarantino is in his bathrobe and saying the N-word every 5 seconds.
hey, he was also in Django Unchained.
I think
Oh,
But he
Django,
was in Reservoir Dogs as
I
well, so
think, uh, I,
so he can act to a
I
degree.
think Django
yeah.
Unchained justified better the usage of, racism and dialogue tied to that. This movie is arguably too gratuitous on that front.
Speaking of Tarantino films that he wrote but not directed, I haven't seen a True Romance. Have any of you?
No, not yet.
No.
So yeah,
In
because this is
terms
a
of.
Tarantino script, we start with a couple of people talking about something completely superfluous. If I recall
Mm.
correctly, the actor who plays the store owner, has become famous for something else. Let me check.
the Texas Ranger is played by Michael Parks.
He was also in movies like The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Redford, also Django Unchained, so he came back for,
It was Robert Ford.
So apparently, this was around the time where Harvey Keitel would actually be the one with top billing. Go figure.
For some reason, even though arguably George Clooney is the real protagonist of the movie. So yeah, if you want something also very different from the usual, George Clooney having to be, as you will see later, a very tough criminal with a very naughty mouth. Well, I don't know why I have that specific kink, but here's to you.
Yeah, like in regards to how weird it is that Harvey Keitel has top billing, he's not even on the cover of most covers. It's usually Clooney and Tarantino who are on the covers.
I know that in more recent years, George Clooney has started being a bit again in these kind of roles, like in the movie The American. But back in the day, this was kind of unprecedented, and it's like the equivalent of seeing Richard Gere beating up a puppy. And yeah, Tarantino plays the brother.
Basically, Clooney here is our protagonist, but his brother's the scumbag of the duo.
And as you may have guessed, the plot is very similar to Pulp Fiction. Tough gangster life with very despicable people a la GTA. Well, they tried to make George Clooney's character, Seth, I think that's his name. Yes, Seth, a bit more rounded, as you will see later. He's still, a criminal with a very tough personality, as you'll see. So don't be fooled for a second that, he's a good guy.
Wow, Bruce Wayne really went off the deep end.
Damn, this is what happened to Daniel Ocean before he met Tess, huh?
Either that or George Clooney's character from ER has a split personality.
Hmm.
Now, how does this end with him going to outer space with Sandra Bullock?
Anyway, the cleric, I think you mentioned it before, Glibs, is played by John Hawkes. And if I recall correctly, this was relatively early. Oh god, he was in Congo the year before this. Yeah. Remember, Tarantino script so people can die at any second. Oh god, that John Hawkes was also in the Lincoln biopic in 2012.
Oh, look, one of the few times where I fell asleep in a movie. Peter.
Wow.
These days he's more known for stuff like True Detective. He has been, in a lot of TV series, even back in the day, like Lost and Deadwood. You might also notice that there isn't a lot of a score because this operates on the, pulp type of movie where a lot of the, more tense scenes do not have music. But rest assured there is a score done by Graham Ravel. Also, if you notice, Jova, Tarantino's character got a hole in his hand, just like the protagonist from yesterday.
Uh-huh. It's all connected.
Clearly.
Oh,
Jeez.
Oh, and a fire, too.
oh,
Oh,
yeah.
he's become Ghost Rider.
Clearly.
Bit of a short-lived
Or
career,
he's
though.
or
And
this is
I
his
love it.
amazing Human Torch cosplay.
flame on, and he dies in the popcorn aisle. I love that this kind of dark humor. Again, script aside, the comedy is mostly on point, actually.
Oh, look, I'd say this Tarantino can be quite crass, but for the most part, he knows how to tell a good fusion of action, suspense mixed with comedy, essentially. Too cool to look back at explosions, of
Basically.
course.
Tarantino's character, Richie, the brother of Seth, if you noticed, seems to have some sort of, paranoia going on. That he was swearing that the clerk was actually trying to tattletale on them, even if it doesn't seem to be the case.
I'm gonna be honest, I chalk it up more to just his character being an asshole and wanting the smoke more than anything.
We got the smoke
And,
and the fire.
and yes, we start on a still frame. Yeah,
Brought to
again,
you by the
Harvey.
director of Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Which, hey, you know what? I like Spy Kids. I like Spy Kids 2, and yes, I unironically like Spy Kids 3D. Okay, so yeah, this was actually quite an interesting tag team duo, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino.
They're best buddies, basically.
Wait, Dark Knight, but this isn't. But Batman is in the movie, actually.
Yes. And of course, Danny Trejo's here because it's a Robert Rodriguez film.
Oh,
You will see later there's also Cheech Marin, aka Banzai from The Lion King.
Mm-hmm. If I recall correctly, he has like multiple roles in this movie.
The budget was 19 million, which there is some practical effects and some minor CGI, but not that much, so it makes sense. And it did at the box office 59.3, so not a lot, but still enough to actually be successful.
It's weird. It technically got a franchise, but kind of a weird branching. Like,
There are two. The second movie, I think it's a prequel, I think, while the third a sequel, and the series just does whatever it wants.
actually, I think it's the third one that's the prequel and the second one that's a sequel. Either way, though,
It's
they're
been a
both
long
direct to
time.
video, so nothing big budget.
I
It
forgot,
got
was
a
the
video
Sci-Fi
game
Channel?
as well,
Oh,
apparently.
the video game absolutely sucks, and it's not even the funny, so bad it's so good kind of sucking. It really sucks. Just watch CV11, video of it, and you'll be done.
It did get a TV series as well, though, all the way in 2014. Wow.
Again, Joe, I ask, I forgot, was the Sci-Fi Channel involved with the franchising of this? I wouldn't be too surprised.
Let's see. Supposedly, I'm not seeing any word about the Sci-Fi Channel.
Then
The place
it's
that
not.
it,
Usually they will, make no secret that they were involved.
yeah, it premiered on the El Rey network.
So what you got from the exposition and the beginning and everything, these two robbed, something very big and got an Austin Jimmy time. Also, of course, the trunk shot, because Tarantino cannot resist himself to have that. I think the closest George Clooney was acting like this for a product back in the day was Brother Where Art Thou, but that was, a few years after this, I think.
Let's see.
Like, I don't know much about the behind the scenes, how this movie got made, but I definitely want to know how George Clooney got involved.
Let's see. Filming wise before this, he'd been in Grizzly 2, Revenge, Return to Horror High, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, Red Surf, Unbecoming Age, and The Harvest.
Remember, ER was the thing that actually launched him in a more classic kind of status. And then 2 years after this, he did Batman and Robin, or 1 year after this.
Part of that lovely 1997 run. Like, again, I still hold that 1997 had good films, but
It
I'll
definitely
admit,
was not a good year for superhero movies. We got, at the very least, Spawn, Batman and Robin, and Steel.
ugh.
Although I think Blade was the year after 1998.
Oh yeah, Blade was what would eventually start to rehabilitate the reputation of superhero films.
Alright, let me check the poor hostage Gloria, who she's played by. Brenda Hillhouse. Oh, she was in Pulp Fiction, so she's slightly recurring. This was apparently her last movie role up until something that she's supposed to star in upcoming called Blowing Smoke, but I don't know anything about that. Interesting. I would make a joke about Jojo, but Guido Mista makes a point to only have 5 bullets because the number 4 scares him.
Yeah. Some people do load their revolvers cowboy style with 5 in case it's one of those old revolvers that can jam when all 6 cylinders are filled.
Oh boy. Again, leaving the hostage with Richie might actually be a bad idea.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's a Looney Tunes cartoon or something else. Also, I think that's Spartacus. Actually, no, I don't know. No, I actually know
Not a
it's
fan
something
of that
else.
movie,
No, I think
Judge?
it's Ben Hur, actually.
Teo, front of ours, watch that.
We are
Why
basically
was that
doing
3
a
hours
small
long?
Stanley Kubrick marathon, so we went also through that.
Now, that
Of
being
course,
said,
Tarantino wants to see her feet.
Oh, just wait for about that, Dej. Don't worry. This movie has a meme that you might have seen online and you don't know
I
yet.
forgot this was the feet guy.
oh,
Keep
I
in
mean,
mind,
yes.
okay.
Shiroi, keep in mind
That's the
that
thing
we
that
did not knew until at this point in time. So a lot of people thought it was quirky. Meanwhile, on the set of Jurassic Park, here's Harvey Keitel.
there we go.
Seriously, are you going to dig up dinosaurs or something?
Yeah,
He's
okay,
even
well
got
that's the
his
thing
2
though.
beloved kids, too.
Tarantino didn't direct this movie, so
But he wrote
what's
the entire
Robert's
script.
excuse?
Basically, Rodriguez gave him carte blanche to do whatever he wanted because they're best buddies, and Tarantino was like, "Well, don't mind if I do."
Yes,
Yeah.
and given how his character gets certain scenes in here, you can tell he wrote this one. And look, okay, I guess it doesn't disrupt the movie too much since, let's just put it like this: his character is an asshole, but also a weirdo, essentially. So you can chalk it up to him being very, very, very disturbed.
Anyway, Harvey Keitel.
Look, everyone has their weird, creepy kink. That, especially if they'll put on screen. That's why the meme "the writer's barely disguised fetish" is a thing.
Anyway, Harvey
Yeah.
Keitel plays Jacob, a pastor who actually is not practicing anymore. We'll discuss more about it later.
That's Jennifer Garner.
No, that's Juliette Lewis instead. The other kid instead is played by Ernest Liu, but This was his first actorial role, but after this, he did only a bunch of, unknown movies up until 2005. Actually, only was
Ah.
mostly in TV stuff. Juliette Lewis instead did had a career, actually. Let me check if there's something we recognize.
Oh yeah, she was. I mean, okay, she'd already had a good chunk of films since
I
1988, starting
recognize
with.
Cape Fear. There's that. I
Oh,
think she was the
her
little
first
girl.
her first movie was a movie called My Stepmother is an Alien.
That's not a
Huh.
movie, that's a Japanese, manga series.
Well, in 1998, well, in 1988, apparently we got an American science fiction comedy film with that very name. Her second thing was National Lampoon's Christmas
I've
Vacation.
never been
Not bad.
particularly a fan of those, but I know they have a very, strict, loyal fans. So there's that.
Yeah, she's been in stuff even up to this year,
Yeah,
essentially.
like I
So,
said, her career actually went
oh,
on.
oh, she was Evelyn in
I
music.
forgot, is she
Ugh.
the older sister?
Uh, no,
Okay,
that's
maybe one
Kate
of the
Hudson.
extras.
We don't have to talk about that movie.
Nope.
We don't talk about me. But one thing we can talk about that's just as, if not worse. She was in Gem and the Holograms, the
I
2015
forgot, was
movie.
she
Surprise.
the evil CEO?
Yes, Erica Raymond.
Interesting casting. Also, she was a DJ in GTA 4, so there's that too.
Basically, it looks like she's had a healthy and sturdy enough
So
career.
yeah, Jacob is having the classic crisis of faith of my wife died, so I'm renouncing the services because of that.
I'll be fair, crises of faith can happen
Oh,
for a ton
by
of
the way,
reasons, so
we're having a cameo in these reporter sequences, so what is about to show up in a second.
also apparently Juliette Lewis is a former Scientologist.
At
She
least
was
she
actually
got out of that.
Wow,
yeah,
whoa, what a life.
she yeah, she was literally born into it actually and started officially practicing it in the 1990s.
Oh, so
But
she was like raised into it, Jesus.
yeah, by 2021, she began to distance herself from Scientology, and as of now, she does not identify as a
Interesting
Scientologist.
repertoire photo. They even have a death toll like it's Death Race 2000. Hey, it's John Saxon!
Goodness
It's
gracious.
just there for this scene alone. Similar to a Pulp Fiction had Christopher Walken just for one scene.
Man, in hindsight, I wish I'd watched Kill Count's video on Dusk Till Dawn from now. They usually have a ton of film trivia for this stuff. I think their review might have mentioned how they got in George Clooney and what he had to do with it. From what I do recall, well, okay, what I do know for certain is that, believe it or not, this was actually neither Tarantino or Rodriguez's original plan. No. Dusk Till Dawn was conceived by one Robert
Also,
Kurtzman.
I think the burgers that George Clooney got are the same brand of the one in Pulp Fiction, Big Kahuna Burger, I think.
So, bit of a wholesome note here, but Robert Kurtzman actually conceived this movie to create work for his co-founded special effects and prosthetic makeup studio, K&B Effects Group, essentially. So, in 1990, they paid Quentin Tarantino $1,500 to write the script, and, well, even though 1,500 may not seem like much, getting a basically carte blanche to write your own script could be seen as a godsend, essentially. So Tarantino did that.
Uh-oh.
And eventually Robert Rodriguez was brought on because Robert Rodriguez has a very special superpower, and that is being able to make relatively quality films on the
Low
lowest
budgets,
budgets
yes. Surprised
possible.
he hasn't done anything with Blumhouse yet. And
God,
yeah, let's just say that what happened to Glory is not pretty. We don't get to see that, thankfully, but
Also, is it?
Yes, very rapidly,
Yes.
not flashing, but rapidly cutting to the crime scene. Again, it's one of those freeze frame bonuses, but I'm sure as hell not gonna see that.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing, essentially. Rich is the asshole, whereas Seth the keyword being tries to be the criminal with a heart of gold, essentially, whereas he tries to present himself as a guy with standards, someone who isn't really a bad guy, but obviously associating with someone like Richie doesn't help his image.
And because they're brothers, he's also, as you're about to see in a second, he's a bit too forgiving of his brother.
Yeah. Okay, the implication I get is that Richie's the reason Seth even got pulled into a life of crime just because he doesn't want to see his brother hang.
Probably. We don't get to know a lot of the background of the characters, just what the movie presents to us in small matters.
Again, a lot like Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one might be forgiven for thinking that a good chunk of this movie is basically a Pulp Fiction remake or redo.
Well, more like a spin-off, but still.
I could actually see this taking place in the Pulp Fiction universe.
Don't remember. Okay, it used to be distributed by a Disney subsidiaries, but I think these days someone else owns the movie. Lives?
Sorry?
Who owns Pulp Fiction right now?
It's a combination of Paramount and the BN Group.
Huh. Meanwhile, who owns this film currently? Also
Paramount, yes.
Oh, there you
Clearly,
go.
we need to have a crossover with Sonic with these people.
No, we don't actually.
Like, if they had a crossover with fucking Image comic characters like Spawn, why the fuck not?
He's got a point.
Okay, so the
there,
reason why
Shay.
that Image crossover happens because like someone at Image's son is a big fan of Sonic.
Fair enough.
Someone's dreams sure came true that day.
Too bad they gave it to the wrong person to give it to.
Now, Jacob, I know you're not a pastor anymore, but that doesn't excuse you to not be nice. I'm sure this is a person with only good intentions.
It's a punch
Oof.
sound effect.
Yes.
Wow, he was already practicing to be Batman. Took inspiration from the Adam West series and everything.
Well, the usage of guns make me think he was thinking more of the 40s version of a character.
Good old Golden Age.
The stuff that comes out of George Clooney's mouth in these movies, wow. I really am not used to that.
Come on, at least be politically correct. Look, I know you're a bad guy, but you can have standards.
I mean, he established his standards earlier.
Honey, we seem to have stepped into Tarantino's latest film. I'm sorry.
Does everyone have a gun?
In
Let's be
Tarantino's world, yes.
Let's be the Second Amendment, Shiri. Don't worry, we'll see later Shiri, a character has even a special type of gun. It's a treat.
Is now really the time?
That again, the movie's framing like he's having an episode, imagining that Shiro.
Yeah, basically, Richie is very, very, very unwell.
Quagmire.
Kinda, except more prone to killing. Quagmire did have a body count, but I don't remember how much.
I hate that body count now has that double entendre.
For the record, in case you're wondering, Juliette Lewis was 23 by the time of his movie.
Yeah,
So
and
at
if
the
I
very least,
recall
we did not
correctly,
add an underage actress.
and I'm pretty sure she's framed as a young adult in the story as well, too.
Basically.
So
Her brother is clearly the younger sibling. I don't remember how Ernest Liu was old at this point. Unfortunately, again, despite everything said, still doesn't like having no for an answer. Pop, 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 pop.
well, I see you're quite the deliberator.
In case you're wondering, yeah, so Jacob having the Crisis of Fate is basically his story arc. Him being tangled in this kind of mess predictably serves to actually reenact a bit his fate. Just not the way you think, though. You'll see.
Because currently, one would think this would make him question why me even more.
God testing in mysterious ways or some shit like that.
Now, Poseidon Adventure had a field day with that. Come on, it'll be like a family vacation.
Yeehaw.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, a very, very awkward vacation.
With my good old buddies Smith and Wesson.
Scenes for Breaking Bad.
No. That was New Mexico.
To be fair, that's actually one of the few jokes that I actually like because they actually bother to not, fall into the racial stereotype. Instead, just a more blunt aspect. Oh, there you go. Jesus is a biter.
Well, it's nice that we're being honest with each other.
No, heaven's the name of this new pub.
Died in a car crash.
Oh, wait, was she the wife of Mel Gibson in Signs?
my God.
Swing away.
She was invested by M. Night Shyamalan?
Now that's the real twist. M. Night Shyamalan's the mastermind behind this criminal organization in this film.
That would be kinda hilarious enough for me to want that. That's the thing that frustrates me. Shyamalan has the capacity for the kind of self-awareness that could actually work for humor, but he has too much of an ego, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, his biggest weakness is his ego. If he was just willing to laugh at himself more, he could totally do some
Not
of the
too much,
silliest and
because
most
I've seen for
awesome
stuff like
things.
the Birdemic sequels, when that happens, the comedy loses all of its charm. So there needs to be still a balance.
Oh, absolutely. What I'm saying is, like, I wish that he was like, okay, I wish that he was willing to take the L, or at the very least, just go with the flow sometimes, Not like completely or try and pull a Tommy Wiseau and say, oh, no,
This
I
was totally
clearly
my
always
plan.
meant for this to be that. No, I mean, like, He needs to just stick with his lane and not be afraid to be a little silly from time to time. I mean, and yes, he is silly all the time. The problem is he is just about never aware of it.
So yeah, that's again the plot of the movie. Get to Mexico, easy peasy, we're gonna totally let them go. Absolutely. It's not like these kind of
Simple.
movies usually end with the hostages being abruptly killed, as we've seen with the bank clerk. Poor bastard.
I swear, it feels like someone was going for a record breaker with F-bombs in this movie. Which, to be fair, Tarantino, but still, damn, dude.
Also, interestingly enough, Rodriguez not just directed the movie, but also edited personally. That guy is, not usually, I'm not too surprised, that guy usually tends to do this kind of thing. He's a kind of a trooper.
You know what? Let me check the credits to see if he did pretty much everything on his own.
Well, no, not really. The
Yeah.
cinematography was a guy called Guillermo Navarro, for example. The producers are from Gianni Nunnari and Mirte Per. The
So
story,
this
as
was
you
bef-
told, is from Robert Kurtzman, although again, Quentin Tarantino wrote the screenplay.
So this was before Robert Rodriguez went to his legendary status of basically doing everything, even the catering. Like, shoot, if cloning technology were available, do you think he would have cloned himself so that he was all the actors, too?
The monkey's paw will be that they will be that Humpty Dumpty guy from Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Mr. Electric, played by George Lopez, no less.
Hee-haw. Um, I think we're running in circles.
Richie, down, boy. Again, I get the feeling that's just Seth not wanting to dig a deeper hole
Pretty
since he
much.
knows how rich he is.
I mean, as showcased by the newscast, their body count is already astounding.
Yeah.
Alright, let's check how the border was at the mid-90s, shall we?
Uh,
Oh boy.
Jova and Deji, you're the Americans. What administration we were having now? Still Clinton, or we were already having Bush Jr.?
Okay, I'm not sure which era this movie's going for, but assuming it's going for like the
Let's
early
assume it's
90s,
the
Clinton.
same date that this movie was released, 1996. So.
Okay, if I recall correctly, we still had Clinton, but let me just double check. Yeah. Clinton was in office from 1993 to 2001, actually.
I'm guessing the northern border is considered too boring for a film like this.
Well, there's a reason also to get to Mexico, partially also so that Rodriguez can use the stable of his usual actors, like Danny Trejo.
Yeah, but if they go to Canada, they can smoke weed. I think it is.
But anyway, no. It's like I said, Clinton was president from 1993 to 2001, so yeah, all the 90s was his presidency.
Okay.
In spite of obvious controversies, the Clinton administration is often associated with a much better booming economy and better
Yeah, I saw a
policies.
documentary the other week that talked about how he reinforced the relationship with countries like China back then.
Mm-hmm.
These have got to be the slowest, yeah, there you go, border officers I've ever seen. Okay. Oh, by the way, another thing that I forgot to mention, that newscaster during the scene with John Saxon, she was instead played by Kelly Preston. Again, another
Huh.
cameo. We saw her last year join Christine.
Yep. So it turns out this is in the same universe as Christine as well.
Clearly. And of course, she was, Gotti's wife in the biopic because, John Travolta.
I've heard so much about that movie, but I
Well,
haven't
eventually
seen
drove
it
out, don't
or a
worry.
review.
Alright, let's see how our master criminal managed to actually outsmart the border officers.
You said you just had your son with you.
Oops.
Oopsie poopsie.
We don't talk about my daughter.
Speaking of not the time,
Thank you.
thank you for that.
Yeah, they should have done that a while ago, actually.
They're not Breaking Bad in here, are they?
Someone is not cooking. I love how the dog doesn't do anything, even though it's supposed to be trained specifically to sniff out, something like guns.
She said,
That could have
please. Dude.
Jesus.
And there you go. That works. The
Huh.
brilliant US border officers, outsmarted by potty humor.
privacy and all that.
So there you go, guys. Not even halfway through, we already made it. We're in Mexico. Good to know that.
I'm sure they're very honored.
Oh, look at that. Now we're friends and pals. Even the music suggests that it's all rainbow and sunshine from here.
So yeah, that's what we're going. As I mentioned in the intro, the prestige locale that is called the TD Twister. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hooray. There was much rejoicing.
In regards to directing, believe it or not, Quentin Tarantino did originally plan to direct this movie himself, but he decided he had enough on his plate with the script and playing Richie Gecko, so that opted him to step down essentially. And as was mentioned, since he was good friends with Robert Rodriguez, Rodriguez was brought on board to direct essentially. Although apparently two other directors who were interested in it were Tony Scott and Rennie Harlan.
Rennie Harland, has not been stopping movies ever since doing movies ever since he started, so that doesn't surprise me.
How long ago did he start?
At least the 80s, I think. And I think
Not
he's still
bad.
doing it today. Let me check.
Hey, here's a good family-friendly place for the kids.
All right, be
Okay,
prepared.
Dusk Till
Now,
Dawn.
now
That's the name of the movie.
in a second, Cheech Marin, again, Banzai from Lion King, is gonna come out of that door and he's gonna give us a proper explanation of the articles that we can find in this fine establishment. Please enjoy. That's quite a lot, actually.
Oh, good to know that you're well and diverse.
What do you mean by snapping?
Don't ask. Yeah, don't want to ask about even that. But aside from that, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm sold.
Oh, fun fact actually, in
Go
terms
on.
of Tarantino and his directing, the year before this, he directed an episode of ER.
I guess it was like a trade-off. Maybe
Yeah,
that's how I
yeah,
got to know George
maybe,
Clooney.
possibly.
Yeah. All right. Sadly, in case you're
Fun fact.
wondering, no alcohol for me tonight. Outside of I have to stay sober for the movie, but I also had medicine in my body, and you don't really have to mix those.
So, get this. George Clooney was not the first pick to play Seth Gecko in this movie. No, believe it or not, a ton of actors were offered the role before,
What is this?
essentially.
Sorry,
And these
hold on.
actors include...
I just need to say
Yes.
this. What's this guy's obsession with pussy?
He's basically the guy that invites you in, basically.
He sounds like he's trying to compensate for something.
Go on, Drover. Ow.
Anyway, though, the actors who were offered the role were Antonio Banderas, Steve Buscemi, Robert De Niro, Jeff Goldblum, Michael Madsen, Tim Roth, Christopher Walken, and James Woods, but all of them turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. The only actor who was offered the role, but turned it down for reasons other than a scheduling conflict, was John Travolta.
Alright, if I recall correctly, the band is actually played by an actual band.
I think so too.
Tito and the
Yeah.
Tarantulas, apparently they're called. They're
So,
still
yes,
doing to
like
this day.
So, like Cheech inferred, there are strippers of all different nationalities gathered here.
And of course, Danny Trejo plays the bartender.
Damn, I never seen him look so young.
Even back then, his face was still full of, scars and all.
Well, did he
I
go
feel-
to did he go to prison a lot?
I don't remember.
Like I remember I hear that like he has a clause in his contract that if he has to play a villain, he wants to have the most brutal death ever because he wants to make sure people don't go to prison like he did.
Mm-hmm. Which
Interesting
definitely,
way to go about it.
definitely explains his scenes in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he was in crimes for her doing drug dealing and armed robbery.
So, surprisingly enough, here's Jacob going to defuse the situation.
I guess it makes sense. He really just wants his family to get out of here ASAP.
Hooray for technicalities!
Beautiful.
I don't know,
Movies!
guys.
Sorry.
Why is this place called the Titty Twister again?
And it's on the tip of my tongue, Lives.
They're really good at doing the twist.
Say please.
Sorry, he's a criminal. He doesn't understand manners.
I see we're getting good mileage out of that R rating.
Basically. Thank you.
Unless it's hot woman.
Alright, here's Tom Savini. Yeah, like the special effects guy, Tom Savini, now is playing a role here. And check this out in a second. He has a double revolver cock gun.
It's been a while since I've
Amazing.
seen this movie. I forgot this bit was in it.
A Glock, if you will.
Yeah!
Yes.
Good job.
How long
Hats
did it
off to
take
that
for you
one,
to think that one
Sheree.
up, Siri?
Thank you.
Hey, Richie's not all that bad a guy. He's gonna get the kid a lap dance.
But he's underage.
Well, remember, it's Richie we're talking about, Dwibs. I don't think he realizes that. And even if he did, he probably wouldn't care.
Speaking of not caring, George Clooney wants to intoxicate the whole family. Okay, here's a bit of, sadness in hindsight. Unfortunately, Juliette Lewis actually did had some degrees of addictions later down their life, unfortunately. So this scene is a bit sad in hindsight, but, back then nobody knew.
I'll check the internet for something real quick. What is the legal age of drinking in Mexico?
Oh, for Mexico, doesn't know.
18.
Yeah, it's the same. I think it's the same as here.
Dude, what did that glass do to you?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt while seeing Joker Folia do. No, I'm not
He's
never
not
gonna.
exaggerating.
I'm never gonna run out of occasions to say that joke. Deal with it.
Yeah, no, from what I understand, it's well deserved.
Can't wait for the commentary.
Oh God.
Someday.
Oh, by the way, here's instead another important actor, Fred Williamson, who was in a lot of blaxploitation movies in the 70s. And unfortunately, in more recent times, he's been in a lot of Christmas movies that tend to be, pandering towards the whole stupid war on Christmas thing. Yeah,
Those are still a thing.
unfortunately.
Huh. I thought those died out in the 2010s, especially with, God.
Last
Kirk
Ounce of
Cameron
Courage
Saves
and
Christmas.
Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas. The 2010s were the higher boom, but they never truly went away, just became more silent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jacob once again surprisingly shows a good, sense of understanding the situation in diplomacy by telling Seth to knock it off, just because for the fact that, yeah, we got to, we got what we wanted. He won. So, bottoms up.
To family.
It's
Family is everything. Hey, speaking of which, Dad, any news on when Fast and Furious 11 is coming? Because it sure seems to be in
Oh,
development.
hold on. We're about to have the star of the
Oh.
night.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is played
Here
by
she is.
Salma Hayek. Okay. Try to have a scene like that in the next Puss in Boots movie.
Salma Hayek in her prime. Or should I say prime?
Let me see
So
what she was doing
originally
around
this
the time.
character was supposed to actually be the blonde deaf and played by a white woman. However, after seeing Hayek's performance in Desperado, Tarantino rewrote the character to be Latina. And, well...
I mean, it makes
the rest
sense if
is
we do it
history.
in Mexico.
Might as well.
Well, remember, they did mention that all the women here are from different nationalities. But yes,
This was
Salma
actually
Hayek.
very early in her career too, so
So I should mention, that's a real snake, and Salma Hayek
python.
was terrified of snakes, so she kind of had to undergo hypnosis to be able to do this dance, which was not
Please don't say
choreographed.
hypnosis and snakes.
The internet is ruling forever, everyone.
Also, I'm gonna sound really stupid right now. Hypnosis is real.
Yes.
To
thought
one
it was just
extent, it's not as as powerful as the movies and series will have you believe, but with the right condition, there is such a thing as suggestion that makes you have a mini blackout and forget what you do for a certain period of time.
Salma Hayek. I don't know what film she was in that was worse. Wild Wild West, Spy Kids 3D, or Sausage Party.
She was
I
in
gotta
Spy Kid 3D.
I think,
Yeah.
Doesn't she play, the mother of the kids?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
No,
someone
no,
else.
That was
no,
Carla.
no.
That was Carla Gugino.
my bad.
I think she plays the Giggles' mother.
Okay. Alright, here's instead the scene that has been also referenced, not referenced, but people know everything about this scene from this movie, and just as a reminder that Tarantino was the one writing this, he wrote specifically that Salma Hayek goes to him, not anyone else, just to him.
Oh, and she's gonna give him some
She gets
alcohol.
the whiskey, I think it is, or gin, whatever the fuck it is, and
And
it's
she
like,
feeds.
my god.
Oh, I have to say, it must have been so hard
Sure
for
you.
Tarantino.
It was
to
very
film this
important that I had to suck on Salma Hayek's feet.
It is important to the plot. The movie cannot
Yes.
work without this scene.
Okay. Question. Which is harder to sell as being important to the plot? This or the free boobed cat lady from Star Trek
5.
The free
The Final
booth.
Frontier?
This.
I think the free. Honestly, I think the free boobs cat lady was easier to sell. I mean, at least Shatner didn't have sex with it on screen.
Pretty, that's awesome.
Although he did get a sensual fight scene with her, so
Also, you can
sex
make
if
an
you
argument
count,
it's a
though.
partial reference to Paul Verhoeven's Total Recall. Who knows?
Eh. But yes, she is indeed 100 degrees hot in the scene. Holy cow.
We even give her the whole,
George,
their
I
own
understand
music
Antonio
theme.
Banderas.
And George must be thinking, "Oh God, I have to watch Quentin's barely disguised fetish."
Yeah, they all had to watch that happen.
Just think of a paycheck.
I have to say, I feel so sorry for Tarantino, who must have had such a hard time
Clearly.
filming that scene, but I'm glad he was able to somehow make it through. Poor
Emphasis
boy.
on hard.
Poor boy. Yes.
Yay!
I have to be very careful of what I say.
Sometimes it's easier to say nothing. That's what I'm gonna do.
Unfortunately,
she's hot. I'm just sorry.
well, remember, Dad, we are simple people. You cannot say simple without simp. So, unfortunately, the Cheech Marine's character remembers the fact that they beat the shit out of him to get inside. So, unfortunately, Unfortunately, we're all back to square one. So just as the brothers were hoping for a clear life in Mexico, it seems we're doing this shit all over again.
They are their own worst enemies.
So that's pretty much the lower point of the movie. All that we accomplished, was kind of for nothing.
Although, to be fair, they are waiting for a pickup, and Mexico's a big country with less jurisdiction, so they can probably disappear a lot easier there than in the States.
That's definitely a hole in the hand. However, before the movie gets to take a very depressing turn because even these people, for these people to actually, face a jail time, being caught or being killed in a crossfire, we decide to do something else. See, there's something I haven't told you about this movie on purpose. This is not just a movie that tries to ape up Pulp Fiction, and wants to be about two killers going on a rampage across, the border and into Mexico. It's about fighting vampires.
What?
Still hot. It's okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough,
I
I
mean,
understand.
Alice said the tone of this movie was all over the place. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, the biggest strength of this movie that works very well with people that, have not seen anything, the movie shifts plot pretty much halfway through. Very rapidly, too.
Well, it's technically more than halfway, since it's like an hour into the movie where the vampire twist shows up, and this is an hour and 48 minutes.
Man, could you imagine if Sinners didn't just hit the vampire aspect of it?
Oh shit. And by the way, I hate that the trailer spoiled this shit. That was criminal in its own right. Why did they do that? Also, of course the cock gun gets to be used in combat.
Haven't you?
You
I've
don't
heard
show
of Chekhov's
something-
gun, but this is ridiculous.
You don't show something like a cock gun and not have that be used. But yes, it turns out this stripper site is, well, a site for vampires.
A literal,
basically.
not tourist, but a literal trap to lure people. And I love it.
And that guy was playing the guitar with a human
The
core.
band changed their instrument into reflecting the fact that now they're eating on humans. So yeah, for 1996, the few CGI that is used in replacing of a makeup occasionally, it's not even that bad.
I do wonder if maybe nothing had gone wrong, they probably would have been able to get out just fine, essentially. Like, I don't know. I think the idea is kind of that, well, it's a slaughterhouse, but I think they only usually typically eat humans at a certain time.
Well, it seems
Otherwise,
that what triggered the Satanico Pandemonio, Bloodlust was seeing Richie's bloody hand.
Also, I realized that the name of this
The power
club
of
is
Christ compels
referenced in
you.
Danganronpa 2.
Yep, this is a movie that is well referenced and known by people in the horror community all over the
Now,
world.
in terms of how well it was, now in terms of how well it was set up, it wasn't really.
No, that's a strength or a weakness depending on who you ask. Because I know that easily this can make it or break it the movie for you because you were just being invested in what was going on, and now all of a sudden we're just fucking things over all over the place.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, I'm all for hot women who are evil, so
Me and
Please
Dad
see,
I don't
Shira,
think-
Shira and I have this strong connection on
Me
that
free.
aspect.
Hey, George, I don't think she likes being shot, just saying.
And yeah, cool. Another cool thing, it's not just about our group of survivors, but also Tom Savini and Fred Williamson's character get to kick ass throughout the movie, even though they were introduced not too long ago. Now they're playing a bit fast and loose with the rules of vampirism because, in case you've noticed, in case you noticed, the way to kill a vampire would be to use, I think, ashwood stakes, while here we're just using everything that is wood made. Now you can make an argument that yes, everything made of wood is of ashwood in the establishment, but it would be kind of counterproductive for the vampires.
Well, maybe
Maybe having all our wooden material being ashwood was a good idea. Yeah, I saw the scene.
Sorry, honey. Tarantino's already dead. He would have volunteered for the footstool
George
duty.
Clooney has a better comeback line.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, no thank you. Slavery? Oh, hell no.
Wah wah.
ow.
Ow.
Alas, it couldn't be. You were so beautiful, but you had to be evil.
No, you just quote the Rush Hour 2 quote.
I don't think he's gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
No. It was like, we could have had something, but you had to be crazy. Something like that.
He really looks and talks like he came right out of a blaxploitation film.
Mm-hmm. He literally ripped his heart off in one fell swoop. How?
He's still alive.
Who said I need a heart?
Wood, my weakness.
Beat the shit out of him.
In that case, get Elijah Wood. He can cancel them out.
He was too busy recovering from North at this point still.
Was he already, what year was Deep Impact Waves?
Deep Impact?
He basically has a main role in that one.
$1998.
So 2 years after this.
He John Wicked the heart.
How about a magic
Oh, so the
trick?
quote was, we could have been a good couple. We could have had something special, but you one crazy ass bitch. That was it.
Okay, 4-on-4. In a fight, right? We needed a fade to that.
I
for
have no
some
idea
reason.
why he's wearing. Remember, Rodriguez edited this movie. He chose to do that.
Sorry.
You asked. How about the bodies just melt like in Parasite Eve?
Oh yeah, those guys.
See, unlike the rest of the people in the bar, yeah, the band knows, when it's time to get away. Fair enough, I
So
get
they
them.
blow themselves up.
They just boom a bounce away. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
Yeah, ironically, this is probably one of the few times escalation was not Richie's fault. Would he? Would he really?
Mhm. Oh shit.
Hey, look! Seth, your brother's alive again! Cosplaying as the creature from Frankenstein with that
He's
forehead?
just missing the electrodes.
Oh no. There's one thing. It's bad enough he had a foot fetish before, but now he's going to be biting off people's feet.
Oh no. He's gonna basically become Morbius, played by.
Actually, it resembles a bit more the vampirified Matt Smith from the Morbius movie.
Huh.
That dance sequence still sends me all the time. God bless.
You know what they say,
Yeah, it
Teal?
really does.
You gotta have sex, and poop your pants, yes. Jesus Christ.
So yeah, if you're wondering about, how much of a conflict of interest would have been to see his brother turn into a vampire, don't worry, Seth is gonna take care of it right away. So we don't have to drag that.
That was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
That said, keep in mind, there were probably a few other people bitten into. Now, vampire rules tend to flip flop on how you turn other people. Sometimes it's like they gotta be drained completely. Other times it's actually the
Just a
vampire
single
gives the
bite.
victim some of the. Yeah, or sometimes the vampire gives the victim some of their own blood to turn them, whereas biting them just eats them.
The act is
Uh,
called siring because it's basically about forming a covenant, quote unquote.
this one plays things quite interesting, I'll just say.
Especially because there's something that the movie is not telling about these vampires that will be revealed at the very end. I guess at this point I might as well check out the critical reception. Currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 65% of official reviewers and 76% from regular, viewers.
Not bad.
Yeah, it seems about balancing enough. Again, the twist can make it or break it the movie. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it, but I understand if someone is actually turned off by this.
Yeah, like Dutch hinted at, some people have compared this to Sinners, and I will just say this. No, Sinners is not a ripoff of this movie. It's just a coincidence that they really kind of
Yeah,
have
when
like
I
similar plot
when I
thread.
saw that movie as Cinemas Joker, that was my first thought, thinking, wow, we got some real From Dusk Till Dawn inspiration here.
Yeah, I won't call it more inspiration with a ripoff, but I definitely believe someone in the production team enjoyed this movie.
Would not surprise me.
Huh.
Yeah, Juliet's just a little freaked
Remember,
out.
she's also intoxicated by the alcohol. Uh-oh.
So here's the thing. Basically, anyone who was ripped or bitten into becomes a vampire, no matter what state they're in. Which, yeah, kind of sucks for this guy who kind of, had his legs ripped.
There you go.
Technically, he's undead.
Shut up.
So what are these two guys' names?
Right, I did not mention any of the characters. Tom Savini's character is called Sex Machine. No, really. While Fred Williamson is called Frost.
I
Two
forget, do
wildly
they-
different names.
Oh yeah, there we go. We get his name.
Yeah, just
Honey, do
You
it
can- you
before he
can do
wakes
it,
up.
And he wakes up.
you're literally just telegraphing that to happen.
This has some 90s sitcom family energy.
The last episode of Ghost Troop they don't want you to see.
Beautiful. Wouldn't surprise me since 90s Disney were doing some pretty hard edge stuff. And yet, for some
Wasn't
reason,
Runaway Brain more like mid 2000s? I forgot.
I'm pretty sure that was the 90s. And yeah, for some reason, they still have not re released that thing.
Apparently, from what I understand, the current people at Disney really hated that short.
And yet, they let Julius show
Jesus.
up in Kingdom Hearts 3D.
Mm.
But yeah, Runaway Brain was 1995.
Oh, okay, 1 year before this. So yeah, unfortunately Sex Machine is being beaten, and unfortunately we do the relatively annoying cliche of I'm gonna pretend, I'm gonna mask my bite wound so that it's gonna be telegraphed later that I'm gonna turn and not tell the others.
So we've got ourselves a few problems. While we did take out the first round of vampires, there's a whole new set of vampires waiting to be born. And there's vampires trying to get in from the outside too, apparently. Which makes me wonder, were they summoned here because of the violence going on, or was it always their plan to chow down on the normies, essentially?
We don't really know, but the place has kind of a significance. Again, the ending of the movie will show that.
Good, so no arbitrary skepticism here.
Shit. I don't know what they were referencing.
Peter Cushing was in a load of Hammer horror movies.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, that's actually werewolves, but yeah.
Well, it depends. Sometimes Silver works on vampires, so Castlevania toys with that.
Castlevania, it's a Castlevania Netflix show. Tries to explain why vampires are weak to crosses, and it's the stupidest thing ever.
Are you talking about Castlevania Nocturne?
Well,
No, this
in
was
general.
the original, the fourth season of the original.
Remember,
season.
the Netflix animated Castlevania series also tries to implement also the very elusive and very easy up to interpretation weakness against the quote-unquote running water. So...
Basically, from what I recall, first two seasons were great, third season was terrible, fourth season was good and managed to end things on a relatively high note, but it had its issues.
They said it's like, well, you see, vampires are actually an advanced species of predators, and the cross messes with their eyesight, so it drives them mad. It's like, guys, you have holy water. It's okay.
Meanwhile, Castlevania Nocturne, I heard a lot more split reactions to.
Ow. So yeah, this is the moment for Jacob to get his faith back, basically.
Basically, he can bless the crosses, bless the water, and whatnot. Oh, so now you want my help, now when you need it. How's that for a title?
Dramatic putting on glasses moment.
Whatever you say, John
I'm
Hammond.
sure this is very badass,
Close
but
enough.
that outfit still makes me think of Jurassic Park. It's very distracting.
I know, right? Like the beard. Like the only thing that's missing is for his hair to be more gray.
Oh, and now it's
And
time
the
for
accent.
Frost to actually to reveal his backstory. It's very important, I assure you.
All right.
Of course, he's a Vietnam veteran.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, as weird as this may seem, we only have 28 minutes left to film. Like, I wasn't kidding when I said we're past the halfway point when vampires come into
That's
play.
because the first major segment, not even half a segment of a movie, tends to have a much more slow pace, but when shit gets real, it really gets real.
It's one of those cases where the abruptness of it definitely just helped the twist, so long as you weren't spoiled by a trailer. I actually had the fortune of seeing this movie in like the late 2000s to mid 2010s without really knowing what it was.
I think
so
in my case
I
it
didn't
was
see the trailers.
2003 or 4, and it was for a VHS movie night, so I knew nothing, so it managed to work out on me.
What were they
Although I
thinking
guess-
when they made the trailer?
As usual, when it comes to
Well-
Hollywood trailer making, they were not thinking. Because that's still
I
happening
guess-
to this very day. Either they spoil the shit out of things or they're marketing very badly the movies.
If
You okay, buddy?
he might be tweaking a bit.
Mhm.
Just a little bit.
From what I can understand, the thought process may have been, dudes, vampires are our big selling
Uh-oh.
point, so we gotta show those off.
Yeah, it's too late. And that's
Oh.
Fred Williamson basically out of the movie. Well, he will be sired as well, but so as I mentioned, his backstory was really important, just so he can be killed.
And also, yeah,
Jacob.
Jake gets been too, which, okay, I will say this. I feel like one problem with some horror films is I feel like sometimes horror films feel like they have a quota to fulfill. In the sense that, well, some horror films feel like they're contractually obligated to kill off most of the characters by the end of the film, even if some of those kills kind of come like rapid speed near the end or whatnot. It's kind of like how we mentioned in Ready or Not, where me and Tio were kind of sad that Alex turned out to be evil too, so he had to die as well. Like, I don't know, it feels like sometimes horror films feel the need to kill off maybe too many people. At the very least, I would have at least probably rather let Sex Machine and Frost get a bit more time. But yes, unfortunately, now with the doors broken, there are more vampires are coming in.
And bats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Batman. It's time for you to take on the Batmen and women.
Again, even the Bat Swarm, you can tell it's CGI, but for the mid-90s, it's not even too bad. Oh, Jesus.
Man, this new issue of Absolute Batman is weird.
We'll just assume that that bullet was holy enough to ward off that
I
vampire.
forgot that, but there was an Elseworld story, I think done in the 90s, where Batman was a vampire and it's referenced a lot.
I thought you were going to be referencing DC vampires.
They do also have that. It was one of the stories that was involved in Convergence, and one version of Wonder Woman unfortunately had to solo the entire fucking vampire court.
Oh, the reason why he didn't turn into a vampire is because he renews his faith.
Well,
Well,
put a pin on
no,
that.
he's been bitten. But hey, look, a cross.
Yes, by fusing a baseball
Maybe-
bat and a shotgun.
Maybe he just has iron will.
It's the thought that counts, I suppose.
Also, if I recall correctly, apparently this Bible quote was something that was in the original draft for Pulp Fiction.
Before being replaced by the fictional Ezekiel quote.
Ow.
Holy bullets.
Oh, and also get this, Pulp Fiction's Ezekiel quote actually originated in an early draft from Dusk Till Dawn.
So, cross-referencing between the two.
Beautiful.
And in case you're wondering, the idea of a badass preacher is something that the concept that Tarantino and Rodriguez will revisit for one of Grindhouse movies.
No.
That's the thing. Even if you're bit, the vampires still wait until you're fully turned. Otherwise, they'll still try and chow down on you. I guess once you fully turn, then I guess you taste bad, and that's why they don't try to eat you then.
Or because you're part of the family. I showcase with Sex Machine, they start talking in his head. So yeah, thankfully we're in the storage room, which had all the loot from the people that over time were, vampirized. So let's see what we can find.
Alright, time for a montage.
Action figures now.
Remember when this film was about two robbers?
Me neither, Dweebs.
Okay, has it ever been stated that, at some point, some plots got mismatched together, or were...
I don't know
Were
about that, but honestly, the headcanon that I want to keep is the fact that it was the idea all along.
Okay, we do know that Kurtzman made this with the idea of giving his film and effects company more work, so I'm willing to believe that vampires were always part of the
And
equation.
Tarantino probably brought the, Pulp Fiction plot because he was already used to that.
I will say, in a way, it can work out in the film's favor and just really how much it catches you off guard. I guess the thing is, and I'm guessing you mentioned you watched this at a Halloween party, right?
Kinda. Well, yes, but I still knew nothing about the movie. I was basically going in with what I was offered.
I guess the fact that it's a horror film might clue you in that something's supposed to be up, but if you're not aware of this film's genre, yeah, it can legit catch you off guard, essentially. You know the drill, even though he's your loved one, when he turns, you gotta take him out.
Yeah, I was talking to my kids.
Kind of a bit to ask much of your kids when there's a hardened criminal who'd probably be
Unfortunately,
more likely to do it.
well, unfortunately, it's a very tough situation. They need to be absolutely sure.
Yeah.
Jacob, you can't be out of the movie just yet. You have the top building.
Yeah, no, I'm still confused. Like, was Harvey Keitel that big at the time,
I honestly
essentially?
don't remember.
Granted, I know George Clooney wasn't a big blockbuster name yet, but still, honestly, I think with ER alone, he would
Okay,
deserve that top billing.
he started acting in the mid '60s. In 1976, he was in Taxi Driver. I remember that one. Uh, he's been in a lot of movies, so I get the idea maybe around this time he was really that famous. Possibly the
So,
higher
yeah.
profile actor, I guess.
So yeah, we got a ton of cool gadgets here. Like he's got a pile driver with a stake here. We've got the makeshift cross, a water gun filled with holy water,
And also
and a
bombs,
crossbow.
with holy water that were done by using preservatives. Cute.
Okay, does having a Bible work against vampires?
Not really.
Depends.
Again, the cross
really
is
depends.
usually the cross is more direct and effective.
Because I feel like it'll be a funny plot point that a vampire fails to kill someone because someone stole a Bible. It's like, how?
Whoa.
Everyone
there
in
you go.
hotel rooms would be safe if this was the case.
Well, this film's always answered one question I've always had about Robert Rodriguez's CGI effects.
What?
They've always sucked.
I think these ones are fine, especially given that it's the 90s and the budget that it's on.
Not to mention, the second Spy Kids movie uses a recreation of the stop motion for the skeletons that is a reference to Jason and the Argonauts, and I still don't know how they pulled that off.
Beautiful. And yes, the obvious one to bring up is Spy Kids 3D, but I feel like that actually works in Spy Kids 3D's favor since they're supposed to be in a game world.
Honestly,
Shark Boy and
Sex
Lava
Machine.
Girl.
yeah, both what about Shark Boy and Lava Girl, like the effects in that one really are truly hideous.
And I know someone's gonna say, but it's a dream world. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure a load of people's dreams are better rendered than
Did they
that.
got better for We Can Be Heroes?
I don't know.
I have not seen that movie yet. Hopefully.
And that's there you go. That's Tom Savini out of the movie.
Well, maybe not entirely. Remember, you gotta kill all parts of the vampire.
Ugh.
That thing doesn't even turn into a vampire, it turns more into a rat creature. What the heck?
I
What the
guess
hell is
maybe
that?
it's supposed to be the Chupacabra, but I don't know about that.
That is an animatronic, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
It would really suck if she accidentally hit Clooney.
No, she did exactly that to raise, the beast ahead, like this. And it
What an explosive
exploded.
personality.
Frankenstein.
Okay, apparently he's too awesome for the cross.
I love this. He uses his body to create a hole for pumping up the shotgun.
Oh, nope, I'm done. Bye.
Okay, I guess that was Fred Williamson out of the movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sex Machine and Frost go relatively quick. In and out. Shame.
Unfortunately, time's up.
Oh dear.
So yeah, not even being a restored preacher actually helps you. And god damn it.
Yep.
You had one
Everybody's
job.
dying.
Charlie.
Well, he was dead anyway.
Quick, use your holy water.
You'll see in a
There's
second.
only alcohol here.
So yeah, no, being a kid does not spare you in this movie. She shot just right to blow them all up.
Remember, she shot the holy water, preservative.
Look behind you, you idiots.
More
And
weird
it becomes
slow-mos.
sunlight.
Apparently we've been fighting so much, but now it's daytime outside, or at least the dawn.
The dawn has finally come.
Oh, look, the contact that Seth and Richie were supposed to actually get.
Yep.
Lucky.
Yep, little Deus Ex Machina.
And look at that, it's Carlos, played by Cheech Marin, who's back from the dead.
They couldn't have anyone else for a different character?
Hey, at least the zombies will, at least the vampires will get to die dancing.
Thanks to the strobing light.
So here's a fun fact, actually. Believe it or not, this movie suffered a lot of technical delays. One of which was, well, the exterior set of a strip club actually had burned down early into development.
Oops.
Which is why a ton of footage had to be shot inside. In fact, there was even threats of a strike due to the dust storms and whatnot of the filming location. Now that being said, when they rebuilt it but with fire damage. Ergo, how you see it now, essentially. So I think the fire may have been used because of that.
Probably. And yeah, that's the punchline. They only decided to use this place as a meetup because that's the one that they knew, but nobody had been here before.
Which, you know, made sense. Go undercover. To be fair, Seth, you still have kind of your own share of the blame.
Is that Uncle Felix?
Who lives?
There was a character in the Spy Kids trilogy called Uncle Felix.
Oh, right. Was
Oh
he also played
yeah,
by
I think
Cheech
he is
Marin?
played by Cheech Marin, yes.
Then it is, man. There you go.
He had a fake mustache in that movie.
Yeah, the whole gimmick is that it wasn't actually their uncle, but just another, undercover agent. And in the
And he was a traitor,
yeah.
but then he turned face again in the third movie.
Remember, Dweebs, the loyalty of the character flip-flops constantly because in the second movie, the characters that the father of the family that got saved in the first movie became the villain.
Pretty much.
And then he turned good again in the third one.
It's
albeit
a
with
roller
his wife
coaster.
keeping a close eye on him.
Yeah, like, to be fair, the kids point out, tongue-in-cheek, that he's kind of tried to take over the world a few times, apparently.
What are you talking about?
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids.
If you
We're
haven't
talking
seen
about
those,
Spy
Dej,
Kids, Lord
eventually.
Edge.
Oh no, I have.
Don't let Sylvester Stallone actually get out of the screen and point at you and say, "Give me your phone."
I saw that with the first movie in theaters.
So yeah, let's
Three,
pay the
four,
quota and move on with our lives.
I wonder if he's traumatized by the fact that he sounds a lot like the vampire he punched to get in here, since they're both played by Cheech.
So that just leaves the question, what is she gonna do now?
Might as well.
So is he gonna stay in Mexico?
Basically. Trust me, Dweebs, I will have to say something like something about that for the final thoughts. So yeah, also another surprising thing, for all the poorly aged things that the script has, I'm genuinely shocked that they actually decided to not, automatically make the two remaining survivors fall in love and instead they go for their separate ways. Wow. For mid-90s, this was very surprising.
I feel like the movie even goes, no, like, it's really not a good look
She
if you stay
tries,
with me, girl.
she suggested the idea, but again, Seth decided to just, no, we're gonna go our separate ways. Actually, I can say right now. So, guess what? This ending is pretty much establishing that they got to Mexico, Seth walked away and everything. The video game opens up with him in cell in America, being arrested off screen in between, the movie and that, and about to be executed, without any explanation how that happened.
Oh, I have got to see that
Oh,
video game in action.
I'll give you a link later to the video. And here's the twist, as we pull away, we discover that apparently the locale was an Aztec temple all along. Ooh.
What does it mean? Oh my god!
And how did the Mexican authorities did not knew anything about this?
Well, apparently they've been dumping all the trucks and whatnot around there too.
Okay.
So these are not just regular vampires, they're pre-Columbian vampires. Sure. Whatever you say, movie. Alright.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Border guard. Oh, yeah, Cheeseman played the border guard, Chet Pussy, and Carlos.
Alright, no post-credit scene, so Seth Gecko will not be invited to the Sonic Initiative, thank God. Dweebs, your final thoughts, please.
It's certainly a very interesting movie. Really, I think the big problem was that the vampire stuff wasn't really foreshadowed, like, at all. It just comes out of nowhere.
I feel like that's the point.
Yeah, the acting was solid enough, and Tarantino, he was okay here, which is a lot more than I was expecting. And for it being not a very expensive movie, Rodriguez does a good job with the production values, if you CGI aside.
What did you think of?
Would you get sired by Salma Hayek as a vampire?
No.
Fair enough. Ask a question, get an answer.
Wait, see, somehow that vampire will revive herself and go on to become Adam Sandler's wife in the Grown Ups duology.
Oh god, that's a fate worse than undeath.
No, sorry, but Salma Hayek or not, I do not want to be a vampire.
Like, Tia, remember, Adam Sandler has apparently the superpower to just land the hottest women in acting in each of those movies. Christ, on a bicycle.
But yeah, that's about it from me. It's a solid movie. Very weird though.
Alright, Dej.
Wow, that was interesting. What started as a family road trip went into a night one girl would never forget.
Hmm.
She's gonna need a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
Yes, thankfully it doesn't seem like she was the one accused of murdering all those people. However, the game transitions plots here and there.
No, the game only focuses on Seth Gecko, being arrested and having to escape a prison. That's literally the plot. And it's done by one of the creators of the original Alone in the Dark. What the fuck happened?
And dare I ask
I guess they were really alone making that game.
Dare I ask if they somehow got the star-studded cast back
No.
for the sequel and prequel movies?
No, not really.
Well, obviously not the prequel, but
Okay,
the
for the
sequel.
game, no. It's a game developed by a French developer, if I recall correctly, so the English language was not a priority. It happened, but it's a
Okay.
bad dub.
And I'm guessing the movie didn't exactly get the cast back either.
I don't remember.
Well, the surviving cast anyway.
Yeah, that was good. We'll watch again.
Would you want to get sired by
No.
Salma? Okay. Listen, just to check, okay?
Alright, Shiroi.
That was fun enough. I think not at all what I expected from the start, but sure, let's go with it. This will probably put people off family road trips forever. Not worth it, apparently.
Alas.
And I think that's it. Really, this is just silly, stupid fun, I suppose.
Would you get sired by Salma Hayek?
No.
To be fair, yeah, I
Not your
get.
type.
Again, you prefer maybe something more traditional from your country, like a banshee. So, all right then.
Wait, Banshees originated from Wales?
Celtic stuff, Dej, basically.
Okay.
Like in Celtic in general.
The pagans back
Alright.
then, Dej, know how to have a good time. I can tell you that. All right, Java, you're up.
It's a good, fun movie, essentially. It's definitely something where you gotta be into the sort of movie that's, I guess, the movie version of what Simpson plots were like in the day. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like we go from legit one plot to another, essentially, when it shifts into vampire mode. Some could argue that helps the movie and the shock factor and the legit horror of the situation, which puts you in the shoes of the protagonist. Others might argue that it makes the film feel a bit disjointed or whatnot. Like, I can see arguments being made for both sides, but for me, it works. It probably helps that I didn't see the trailers. Now, I can imagine if somebody saw the trailers and were expecting the vampires, that, yeah, they might be a bit disappointed that the vampires only show up for the last, well, less than 48 minutes in an hour and 48 movie, essentially.
Maybe they
But
did
hey,
that
the
to
bit-
avoid false advertising, similar to some problem people have with Metal Gear Solid 2.
Which, okay, I guess to be fair, in a case like that, we would have to wonder, since if I recall correctly, this was sold as a horror movie, so obviously some people would wonder, wait, it's a horror movie, but these seem more like they're full of suspense than horror, like,
Basically,
I don't
Shyamalan
know.
was the one guy who knew how to keep a twist mostly intact unless the script leaked, so it wasn't exactly super common back in the day.
Go figure. But yeah, no, I do like the movie. I honestly think Tarantino's acting is fine here, and oh boy, he sure puts his acting skills to the test with his one-on-one scene with Salma Hayek, who, don't get me wrong, she's an absolute bombshell wonder, but holy cow, man, the sexy. Although I do feel sorry for her since she was apparently terrified of snakes and had to have a giant snake draped around her, like... hopefully that therapy...
This wasn't even too far from the movie Striptease, which also has something similar going on in a strip club scene. Weird.
Oh, she was in that too.
No,
Yeah.
but the strip club teacher, in that movie, does contain an important plot point of using a python for performance, which goes horribly wrong.
Yeah. Snakes do be like that and all. But yeah, no, like the action is good. The props are nice and creative, especially when they come up with the vampire killing stuff. I guess one issue I might have is it does feel like it falls into that horror film syndrome of, oh, movie's almost over, so we basically got to kill all but one or two of the main cast at the end, essentially. Which is like, yeah, I'm like, whatever on it. I'm not the most broken up about it, essentially, but it is just a little pet peeve of mine. Like, again, Sex Machine and Frost practically die almost as soon as we get their introduction, so there's that. Other than that, though, it's just a good, clean, fun enough romp. I wouldn't call it writing Shakespeare, but it feels like, basically the kind of work of art you get from combining the filmmaking tendencies of Robert Rodriguez and a script that was most definitely written by Tarantino. Like, if you had any doubts, the foot alcohol drinking scene pretty much might as well be his signature right there and then. In all of its wacky and wonkiness, though, it's another fun horror film that I would definitely recommend.
Alright, that's for me. Again, I still really enjoy this movie. It has started to show its age the more time passes. I still really love the twist because it really catches you off guard, and the initial plot kinda still fits with what they actually are, what can they do with it. So it's not, even if it's abrupt, it's nothing too out of the ordinary in my eyes. It kind of,
So,
slides very well into that. And a lot of elements that were established before, like the dialogue that Seth has with Jacob about, his crisis of paper and everything, do come into play for the climax too. So that's actually pretty neat.
So, Tia, would you like to be sired by Salma Hayek,
I
especially as she
mean,
was then?
I've seen worse ways to go. If it's like in the World of Darkness setting, it would be a very bad situation, but I don't know, I've seen worse happening, so I'll let you think about it at the very least. Um, no, really, the thing that has aged the most is the script for the first half at the very least, because, it probably sounded more funny back in the day, but these days there's way too much terminology that is not particularly comfortable, being used. And yeah, you can make the argument, the people who, uttered that tends to be just the bad guys, even though at the beginning there's the Texas Ranger, which is supposed to be, a force for good for the movie's logic, so he's not exempt from that. So no, it's just a quirk from Tarantino that also had in Pulp Fiction, and he's been a point of contention. So it's not even a clean and shut case. People are literally split on the matter. Like, oh, is he risque enough that he should be permitted to do this with enough context, or is it too gratuitous and comes across, more distasteful than anything? I would like to remind you, Bob, that in recent years he also was an apologist for Roman Polanski and included the person, not in person, but as a character in his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie. So take that I don't know how you want on the matter. I can tell that again. I enjoyed this movie for what it is. I wouldn't have minded seeing more stuff like this happening. I kind of got my wish a bit with Sinners, but we'll have to wait, a couple of months for that. Uh, as for the sequels, I haven't seen them in a very long time, so I don't remember almost anything about them. I haven't seen the series, and I've seen enough of a video game to know that I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Just stick to CB's video about it, and you're good to go, because that tells you everything: the plot, how the gameplay works, and why you shouldn't touch it. And to be honest, it's even abandonware that rarely works because it crashes constantly, so the game itself doesn't want to be played. So, you know what? I'm welcoming that. So that's it.
Fair.
We're probably gonna do the sequels at some point. Might as well. Not sure about the series, but at the very least the movie sequel should be fine. So that's where things normally would have to end, because each of us had a movie pick. Except not really. And it is kind of fitting, because we ended this movie on an Aztec temple, and the next movie tends to have something tied to that to an extent. Where are we going, Shiroi?
I guess we're doing some reading next time, I suppose.
So
Interesting
we're going
for
to a
Halloween
Mexican
party.
museum and library.
Sure.
Well, we'll see what happens then. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.